The year is 2025. America is, well, a tinderbox. The nation's great cities, which were once these beacons of progress and prosperity, now smolder under a perpetual haze of discontent and division. The unity that had once defined the country has, fractured into a million jagged pieces, each one sharp enough to draw blood. Protests and riots are a daily spectacle, their fires illuminating the growing chasm between the government and its people. The economy is in a freefall, a chaotic descent that has left millions jobless and desperate, clinging to whatever semblance of hope they can find. Trust in institutions has completely evaporated, replaced by a deep-seated paranoia that permeates every corner of society. The media, no longer a source of truth, has become a weapon, spewing narratives designed to inflame and divide. Amid this widespread chaos, powerful, unseen forces are at play. They are the puppet masters lurking in the shadows, pulling the strings of global events to serve their own clandestine agendas. China, a rising global superpower, has become a thorn in their side, a rival that must be checked. The plan is simple in its audacity and terrifying in its implications: escalate tensions to the breaking point. To achieve this, they need a catalyst, a spark to ignite the global powder keg. They need an act of unspeakable terror, one so horrific it will demand retribution, and they need someone to blame. They need a ghost, an operative who can execute the impossible and then vanish without a trace. In a modest, nondescript apartment in a sprawling, anonymous city, a man sits in absolute stillness. His name is Jack Smith, but that name is just another layer of camouflage. To the very few who know of his existence, he is known only by his call sign, the Jackal. Suddenly, a searing pain, sharp and electric, lances through his mind. It is not an attack but a transmission, a high-frequency signal from a proton transmitter. The message bypasses his eyes and ears, imprinting itself directly onto his consciousness. There are no words, only pure, unfiltered data, coordinates, schematics, objectives, and a target. The pain subsides as quickly as it came, leaving behind the cold, hard certainty of his new mission. The mission is a false flag, to carry out a mass casualty event on American soil and frame China for the atrocity. The location is a packed baseball stadium that will soon become a charnel house. He feels no revulsion, no hesitation. He is a tool, and a tool does not question its purpose. The Jackal has been given his hunt, and the time to prepare has begun. Jack's apartment is a study in calculated anonymity, yet this minimalist facade conceals a fortress. He places his eye before a nearly invisible pinhole. A thin, scarlet beam of light scans his retina. He presses his thumb against a small, cool patch of the wall. A hair-thin needle emerges, pricking the tip of his finger. DNA analyzed in a near-instantaneous sequence. With a soft hiss of pneumatics, a large section of the wall retracts. It reveals the true heart of the apartment. An arsenal. Racks of assault rifles, sniper systems, sidearms. Drawers slide open to display rows of gleaming knives. Specialized explosives. Sophisticated electronic warfare devices. This is where Jack Smith ceases to exist and the Jackal comes alive. He is not admiring his collection, he is selecting his tools. He isn't just choosing weapons, he's choreographing a symphony of terror. The city outside sleeps, blissfully unaware. The Jackal's most formidable weapon is not stored on any rack, it is encoded in his very DNA. His muscles are woven with synthetic fibers, granting him strength that borders on the superhuman, allowing him to tear through steel as if it were paper. His agility is that of a phantom, a blur of motion that defies the eyes and confounds any opponent. Deep within his cellular structure lies an accelerated healing factor. Deep lacerations knit themselves back together in a matter of minutes, not days. His mind is a forge, capable of creating weapons out of anything and everything, making him lethal even when completely unarmed. But the masterstroke of his creation was the removal of his soul. Empathy, remorse, fear were systematically cauterized, chemically and psychologically burned away. He looks upon the impending slaughter not with glee or malice, but with the detached focus of an artist preparing his canvas. He is the perfect Jackal, and his blood is so valuable that it is stored away, ready to clone an army of monsters just like him. Jack's preparation is a quiet, methodical ritual. He begins by selecting the core components for the false flag operation. Each has been preloaded with a carefully constructed call and text history, creating a digital breadcrumb trail that points directly to a fictitious Chinese intelligence cell. Next, he turns his attention to his disguise. To the casual observer, he will be just another blue-collar worker going about his day. He procures a fake ID and security credentials, flawless forgeries. This new identity will be his key. The centerpiece of his operation is the weapon itself, a custom-built, autonomous Gatling gun. He assembles it with practiced efficiency. He attaches the thermal imaging camera, the advanced laser targeting system, and the remote operation module. Finally, he prepares the secondary charges. These explosives will serve a dual purpose, to amplify the chaos and to create secondary kill zones. As he packs everything, he is setting the stage for a global deception, and every single detail must be perfect. With his preparations complete, Jack Smith transforms. He sheds the skin of the phantom operative. He dons the guise of the common man. He slings a heavy duffel bag over his shoulder. The predator has cloaked himself in the fleece of the sheep. The stadium looms. Fans in team colors stream toward the entrances, festive, expectant. They are oblivious to the darkness about to descend. Jack bypasses the main gates for a rear service entrance. A bored guard glances at his credentials. The credentials check out. The disguise has worked. Jack nods wearily and walks through the gate into the belly of the beast. He is inside. The countdown to chaos has officially begun. Once inside the stadium's sprawling underbelly, the atmosphere shifts dramatically. He absorbs the tactical layout, turning the stadium into a weapon. He reaches a large, rattling freight elevator. Jack stands silent among them, unremarkable. He adopts the weary, disinterested posture of a man on shift. Workers get off at lower levels, leaving Jack alone. He watches the floor numbers climb toward a sealed, high-level room under remodeling. The elevator halts. Doors slide open to a deserted corridor. Jack steps out, duffel bag heavy on his shoulder. The path to carnage has led him here. The room designated for remodeling provides the perfect cover. Pulling back a corner of the tarp, he gazes down at the rapidly filling field and stands. He unzips the duffel bag and begins to assemble the Gatling gun. Every component clicks together, forming a lethal machine. The whole setup takes less than 5 minutes. He powers up the weapon's sensor suite. On a hardened tablet, a grid of the stadium appears. He now has complete control. He wedges a micro SD card into a crack near the window. With the gun in place and the frame laid, his work is done. He gives the machine one last look and then slips back out, as unseen as he arrived. Jack's exit from the stadium is the mirror image of his entry, a masterpiece of calculated invisibility. Have a good one. The bored guard is still there. Have a good one, the guard mutters, his eyes already drifting back to his phone. He has successfully infiltrated, planted a weapon of mass destruction, and walked away without raising a single alarm. As he gets in and drives away, he takes no backward glance. His mind is already moving to the next phase, reaching the remote observation post where he will watch his handiwork unfold. The baseball game unfolds under a brilliant, cloudless sky. They are immersed in a moment of pure, unadulterated joy and community. This idyllic scene is a fragile bubble, about to be burst with unimaginable violence. High above them, the Gatling gun waits. Far away, in a sterile, windowless room, the Jackal arrives at his observation post. He is the all-seeing eye, the unseen god of this small, manufactured universe. The game progresses. A home run in the third inning sends a wave of delirium through the stands. Jack watches, unmoved. He is simply waiting. His instructions are precise, laden with a dark, symbolic weight. The attack is to commence at the bottom of the 6th inning. He glances at a digital clock on his console. There is still time. The world continues to turn, the sun continues to shine, and the countdown to hell continues its silent, inexorable march. Jack's focus is absolute. He ignores the game itself. Instead, he watches the crowd. The announcers' voices drone on. Their words paint a picture of a world that is safe, ordered, and makes sense. That world is about to be irrevocably shattered. The top of the 6th inning begins. They are invested in a manufactured conflict, a game of sticks and balls, while the real conflict is moments from beginning. As the third out is made, the top of the 6th inning concludes. It is a pregnant pause, a breath before the plunge. On Jack's console, the digital clock displays the current inning bottom of the 6th. This is the signal. Man was made in 6 days. At the bottom of the 6th, he will be unmade. Jack's hand moves to a single, large red button. His finger rests lightly on its surface. The slow march to oblivion has reached its final step. The home team's first batter steps up to the plate, and for a split second, everything is as it should be. It is the last normal moment any of them will ever experience. He presses the button. There is no hesitation, no final thought. Miles away, his command is received. The Gatling gun whirs to life. Before the first pitch of the inning can even cross home plate, the firing sequence begins. The gun erupts, like canvas being torn on a cosmic scale. The first burst tears through a packed section of seats with unimaginable force. Bodies are ripped apart in an instant. For a brief surreal moment there is confusion. Some think it is fireworks, a catastrophic malfunction of the pyrotechnics. But then the gun adjusts its aim and fires again. A second burst, a third, a fourth. The illusion shatters completely, replaced by a horrifying reality. This is an attack. Panic, swift and absolute, ignites like wildfire, and the sixth inning descends into hell. From his remote command center, the Jackal watches the chaos unfold like a conductor. His face is a mask of concentration, his lips curled into the faintest hint of a grim, self-satisfied smile. He is in control. He is the force. He makes a minute adjustment with his controls, directing the next torrent of fire into a more densely packed section of the upper deck. The autonomous targeting system, now fully engaged, works with brutal efficiency. It does not distinguish between men, women, or children. It only sees targets. On the field, the players are frozen in a state of shock. The game, once the center of this universe, has become utterly irrelevant. What is happening? Oh my God. They're shooting. They're shooting in the stands. Their panicked words are broadcast live across the nation, carrying the first whispers of the terror to the outside world. The symphony of carnage has begun, and its horrifying music is only just starting to reach its crescendo. The initial shock gives way to a singular, overwhelming instinct: survival. A stampede erupts. In narrow concourses and stairwells, panic becomes a deadly force. People are trampled underfoot, their screams lost in the cacophony. Parents lose their children, their frantic calls swallowed by the noise. Friends are separated, hands torn apart in the crush. The Gatling gun continues its methodical slaughter. It herds them like cattle, cutting off escape routes and driving them back into the vortex. It's a massacre. They're being slaughtered. Amid the chaos, small acts of heroism play out. A man throws himself over his son, shielding him. Strangers try to help a fallen woman only to be swept away. These moments are quickly extinguished by the scale of the violence. The stadium is now a killing field, a nightmarish labyrinth with no escape. And the worst is yet to come. Just as the panic reaches its peak, the Jackal initiates the second act. He waits for a large, panicked group to surge past a row of bins near a main exit tunnel. Then, he presses the button. A series of massive explosions erupts almost simultaneously, sending fireballs and shrapnel tearing through the concourse. The exit, which had represented a path to safety, is instantly transformed into another kill zone. He sees the flow of the crowd instantly change direction. This is the shepherd's crook, driving the sheep back toward the wolf. The Gatling gun continues its work, firing into the newly formed clusters of people who are now trapped between two sources of death. The coordinated nature of the attack becomes terrifyingly clear. This is not a lone gunman. This is organized, sophisticated terrorism. As the chaos rages, the Jackal performs his final, crucial task. He is about to add the final brushstroke to his masterpiece of deception. He patches the audio into the stadium emergency frequency, hijacking it. Let this be a lesson to the American Empire. Your arrogance will be your downfall. The distorted voice booms through the remaining stadium speakers, a ghostly, disembodied presence. This is the price for your aggression. The dragon has awakened. Did you hear that? A voice, it claimed, it sounded Chinese. The message is broadcast within the stadium and is picked up by the live news feeds. The unnamed horror has been given a name. His work complete, the Jackal cuts the transmission. His mission is accomplished. The evil smile he wore at the beginning is gone. The Jackal has played his deadly game and America is now burning just as planned. In the immediate aftermath, the stadium becomes a silent, smoking wound under the darkening sky. The once vibrant green field is now a triage center, littered with the wounded and the dead. The media narrative now begins to solidify. News anchors, somber and grave, report on the discovery of the evidence. The distorted audio message that claimed responsibility is played on a loop. The false flag, so meticulously planned, is raised high for the world to see. Far from the chaos he authored, the Jackal sits in another anonymous room. He is observing the results of a complex equation he was tasked to solve. A grieving and enraged public, desperate for an explanation, begins to embrace the lie. Anti-China sentiment explodes into open hostility. Political leaders, riding a wave of nationalistic fervor, deliver fiery speeches promising accountability. The drums of war begin to beat, a slow, steady rhythm that grows louder with each passing hour. The ash from the stadium has settled, but the echo of the screams will now fuel a fire that could consume the world. As America directs its fury outward, the true architects of the tragedy remain shrouded in shadow, their victory absolute. They have manufactured a cause for war, a casus belli so emotionally potent it bypasses all rational debate and diplomacy. The Jackal, having fulfilled his purpose, is now a liability to be managed. He is too valuable to discard. And the agency's cloning program using his perfect genetic template is already underway. Soon, there may be an army of jackals. The attack was not just isolated, it was a demonstration, a proof of concept for a new era of warfare where the lines between truth and fiction are blurred. The stadium massacre was merely an opening move in a much larger contest for global domination. The world has been plunged into a new age of fear, orchestrated by those who thrive in the darkness. The next inning is about to begin.